I came out of the dark and my eyes got used to the light from the porch. The mission was really long and hard, but it was finally done. I was very tired, my body hurt, and my mind felt empty. When I got close to the door, I thought our maid Maria would be there to welcome me, but instead, the door opened. I saw something that made my heart skip a beat. My beautiful, innocent wife was standing in front of me. Her eyes looked tired, her hair was messy, and her body looked nice in the soft light. For a moment, I forgot about the darkness I had just left, forgot all my responsibilities, and only thought about the woman in front of me. I couldn't stop looking into her eyes, and I felt a strong feeling inside me, like a fire that had been sleeping for a long time. It's so late, baby. Why are you still awake? I spoke very quietly, looking into her eyes. She blinked slowly, still looking at me. I was waiting for you. I felt a sharp pain in my chest, my heart beating fast with different feelings. No one had ever stayed up for me like that. No one had cared enough to stay awake just to see me come home. I looked at her lips, soft and pink, as if they were asking me to kiss them. My determination weakened, and I forgot how tired I was because I wanted her more and more. What are you doing, my wife? Don't you know it's not safe to be up so late waiting for a man like me? I don't know why, but I kept looking at her lips. I stayed awake for you, Jungkook. I was worried about you. Her words made my heart melt and I forgot how tired I was. Baby, you shouldn't stay up so late. It's not good for you. I said, trying to sound serious, but my voice came out soft. She made a sad face, sticking out her lower lip in a cute way. But I wanted to see you. I missed you. I couldn't resist her any longer. I took another step closer, looking into her eyes. I missed you too, Vine, so much. Really? I nodded, feeling my heart about to burst. Yes, she came closer, reaching out her hands to me. Welcome back, Jungkook. My defenses crumbled, forgetting all my exhaustion. I held her hands in mine. Thank you, my wife. Thank you for waiting for me. As I looked into her eyes, I felt a calmness and a sense of belonging. At that moment, I knew I was home. Our marriage was like a business deal where we got together for convenience and power. I needed someone to help me with my goals, and she was the perfect choice, young, innocent, and easily influenced. But as time passed, I started to have feelings for her that I couldn't ignore. She was too pure and innocent for someone like me. So I controlled myself, keeping my distance and only touching her when necessary. I convinced myself that it was for her own good and to protect her from the dark side of me. But the more I tried to keep away from her, the more I wanted her. It was a constant struggle, and I was determined to resist my basic instincts. I wouldn't let myself give in to my desires, no matter how much I craved her touch. So we lived in a tense relationship. We went into the room and the door closed quietly. She looked at me with a curious face and her eyes looked innocent and shiny. Do you eat anything? I already eat, I answered, speaking quietly and calmly, looking directly at her. She nodded and her hair fell down her shoulder, which made me suddenly feel attracted to her. Her eyes seemed to shine even more and she had a small smile on her lips. She came towards me without making any noise with her steps. When our eyes met, I felt my heart beat faster and I swallowed nervously. She raised her hand and gently touched my cheek, her fingers following the mark on my cheekbone. How did you get this mark? She asked, speaking softly and with curiosity. I felt a bit uncomfortable remembering the fight that caused it. It's from someone who doesn't like me. Hey, can you please stop looking at me like that? I asked, sounding a bit desperate, trying to hide that I was having a hard time staying calm. You're making me feel dizzy. I think I need to sit down. I took a step back, trying to create some space between us, but I couldn't stop looking into her eyes, showing my true feelings. Maybe we can talk about this later. I'm feeling a bit too much right now. I waited for you, but now you don't want to talk to me. Her voice sounded a little sad, and she made a cute pout with her lips that made me nervous. I was surprised by how she suddenly acted differently, and I couldn't stop staring at her lips, thinking, should I kiss her now? I want to kiss her so much. Her eyes looked playful and vulnerable at the same time, and it made me feel captivated and filled with desire. Okay, fine. If I'm a disturbance to you, then I'm going. She turned to walk away, but her feet tangled together and she stumbled on the small couch. I reacted instinctively, grabbing her before she could fall, my hand sliding into the oversized shirt she was wearing. My fingers brushed against her bare skin, sending shivers through my senses. I felt her warmth, her softness, and her fragrance, making my thoughts overdrive. I looked at her cheeks and felt my lips part as she blushed in my arms. Her face was a soft pink color and her eyes were shining with both embarrassment and excitement. I couldn't help but focus on her lips, which were very close to mine, and I felt my heart beating faster. She was breathing slightly heavily, and I could feel her warmth on my skin, which made my heart miserable. I was completely captivated by how beautiful she was. Changok. I immediately snapped out of it, rubbing my forehead with a shy smile. I'm sorry, but I couldn't help but smile knowing that I had such a strong effect on her that I made her blush. Her eyes sparkled with a bit of scalding, but I could see a small smile forming on her lips. She was stuck in my gaze, and I could feel my heart pounding with anticipation, wondering what would happen next. I nodded. I couldn't help but stare into her eyes and notice how her hair flowed down her back or how her eyes sparkled in the dim light. I knew I was taking a risk, but I couldn't control myself. I wanted to be close to her, to feel her skin against mine, to kiss her. I shook my head, trying to clear my thoughts, and I headed to my own shower, hoping that the cold water would help me snap out of it. But I knew it was of no use. As I stood under the cold water, I couldn't help but think how much my life had changed since she came into it. I was no longer the same carefree person I used to be. She had awakened something in me, something I couldn't ignore, and now I was stuck. Oh my goodness, she was the most delicate thing I had ever touched. Her skin felt incredibly smooth, and her hair was light as feathers. I remember how perfectly she fit in my embrace as if she was just made for me. Everything about her, her warmth, her smell, her gentle breathing. Damn. Even though the water was running down my face, I couldn't forget the way she felt. It stayed on my fingertips, reminding me of what I couldn't have. I closed my eyes, hoping the water would wash away my thoughts. My eyes suddenly snapped open as I realized something. Why am I keeping my feelings hidden? It's only hurting me to keep them inside. Why am I being so afraid? I should just ask her if she's willing to give me a chance. Maybe she feels the same way. Maybe she wants to be held and cuddled just like I do. I felt my heart race at the thought, the possibility of holding her in my arms, feeling her warmth and softness against me. I'll ask her no matter what happens. I came out of the bathroom and changed into comfortable clothes. When I saw her sitting on the edge of the bed, my heart started beating fast. It surprised me how scared I was for her, even though I'm not tough against my enemies. All my bravery and toughness seemed to disappear when she was around. I felt like a scared child as I walked towards her. It was strange how different I felt around her compared to how I'm in battle. Sensing my presence, she lifted her head and desperately hoped she wouldn't look at me with those eyes. But she stared directly into my eyes, and I felt like I was sinking in them. The eyes were gentle and kind, but also very intense, as if they could see everything about me. It felt like she could see my soul, my biggest fears and wishes. I couldn't escape her gaze as she searched my face for answers. My heart was beating fast, I couldn't breathe properly, and everything else around me didn't matter anymore. She has something to say. I was correct. She could understand my feelings just by looking into my eyes. She could see how vulnerable and longing I felt, even though I tried to hide it. I felt completely exposed and helpless in front of her. I tried to speak, but I couldn't find the right words. All I could do was nod silently, hoping that she would truly understand and accept me. I was worried she would say no, but then she shifted just slightly to the side, making room for me. Suddenly, my heart started pounding really fast, like a drum in my chest. It felt like the beats were echoing throughout my whole body. I sat down next to her, and our legs touched, giving me a tingly feeling. What do you want to say? I don't know how to start, but I was determined, so I placed my hand on hers. It's actually, I was wondering whether I'm your husband, right? But I want to tell you something. I love you, like really love you, not just because we are married, but because you're my everything. I know it sounds cheesy, but I can't help how I feel. I wonder if you ever felt the same way, Ryan. Did you ever look at me and feel like your heart was going to burst? I don't know why she's looking at me like she's not getting what I'm saying, so I decided to make it clear. I love you, Jungle. I felt a sudden rush of emotions when she said that. However, she didn't explain or say anything more than those three words. I wish she would say it again and tell me what she truly meant if she felt the same way. I looked at her, hoping for. She leaned in, her face inches from mine, her eyes locked on mine with a hint of nervousness, but then she hesitated, her shyness getting the better of her, and she started to pull back. I couldn't resist. I had to taste her lips. I grabbed her knee, pulled her back in, and claimed her mouth with a hunger I couldn't hide. Our lips crashed together, and the kiss, deep and passionate like a dam, had burst, like a flood of emotion had been unleashed. I felt bad for her because she was having a hard time breathing, so I backed away slowly to give her some space. However, I still wanted to continue, but I should control for my cutie pie, right? Love, I need one more thing. I want to cuddle with you, hold you close and never let go. We can stay like that for years, just feeling your warmth, your heartbeat, your love. I want to be wrapped in your arms, surrounded by your sun, and bask in the comfort of your presence. Can I? She had a big smile on her face and her eyes showed how much she cared about me. She opened her arms wide for me to come closer. I didn't need to be asked again. I snuggled into her hug and felt her warmth around me like a gentle squeeze. She held me tightly and I buried my face in the space between her neck and shoulder, breathing in her nice smell. We stayed like that, wrapped up together, with our hearts beating at the same rhythm. I snuggled deeper into her embrace and placed a warm kiss on her neck, and she tightened her arms around me. Forever, if possible.